Italian job?
Man, I'm feeling good, Tommy boy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Got off a call last night. Let's see, it's Thursday at 11:30 a.m. as we record. I got a call last night, which was the op org for the next Grow Ruck, which is coming up next weekend. It's literally the last day of May and into June. Fired up for that. Get to go back out west to see some guys in the Kansas City area, make some new friends, break some hearts, break some ankles, just have a big old grow ruck kind of time, you know? How about you? What's new?
I'm good, man. Also rocking a Grow Ruck shirt. I think this one's from Louisville, I believe. I've got a few of them in the closet. Louisville. In October, I get to go out and join the guys in St. Charles, Missouri. So I get to join those men out there and see some guys I haven't seen in a while and meet some new dudes. So pretty stoked about it. It's been a busy week. But I'm envious of where you get to be. I mean, that's pretty sweet. I mean, a little FOMO right there.
Yeah, looking forward to it. That rumor has it there'll be some Wichita packs that show up. So I'm excited for that as well, and relive the glory days and create some new memories and ideally build up bigger men, right? Bigger, better men. Yep.
Hey, speaking of bigger, better men, we've got one on with us today that's pretty much more awesome than we are. So I just want to just laying it out there, just
Facts.
spitting truth nuggets here. So let's first introduce Snooki from the Cape Fear region, and I think we know the answer, but Snooki, give us a name-orama. How long have you been doing F3, and how did you get that name?
Sure. John Reynolds, 53, Snooki.
Respect.
I have been posting since March 2021. I was EH'd by Special K to come out to a numbers game. There was a bridge battle between us and our eventually the region that became F3 Bruco across the Cape Fear River, and it was a head-to-head battle of 5:30 a.m. Pickup basketball, or half-court basketball in 20-degree, Carolina darkness.
Check all the F3 boxes.
Just makes complete and total sense, right?
Exactly. I was like, when can I do this again? Right? And I was kind of hooked. And yes, so that day it was about 30 packs. We had 2 FNGs. I was one of them. The first guy got named. It took like 5 to 10 minutes, and they got to me, and I just said I'm from New Jersey. Somebody shouted Turnpike. They said we already have one. Everybody laughed, and you know how it went from there.
That's it. So this is, if for those keeping track at home, this is the 3rd episode in a row that we're talking to somebody from New Jersey with New Jersey roots.
Yes. We're very easy to name, so
If I use my free space, that means one more week and I have bingo.
Yeah,
bingo. Hey, so Tommy Boy and I saw something that came through, and Tommy Boy, I laughed out loud. I literally LOL'd when I saw it, and since this is
literally and LOL in the same sentence.
I literally laughed out loud, and mostly because of the sophomoric humor behind it. We always tell fart jokes and things in F3, and this one was called the Ass Challenge, and Snooki, I'm not going to bury the lead. What is the Ass Challenge? Give us the high level and kind of the origin story, the whole thing. What is this thing, and why should other guys consider it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, maybe for the listeners out there, for any guys with their 2.0s in the minivan, we're going to say ass a lot. I don't know if it's going to give you an E on the rating for this, explicit on the episode. I hope it doesn't.
We'll break the algorithm.
Yes. Let's just say it's an acronym for the All-Star Special, which is essentially a power breakfast you could order at Waffle House. And if you don't know what Waffle House is, it's you think it's primarily in the Southeast, but there are over 2,000 locations for Waffle House, as far west as Arizona, but certainly in the Southeast. Waffle House is a thing. And
I passed two on the way to my workout this morning. I passed two.
Yes. And I don't work there. I'm not a paid spokesman. But imagine your breakfast chain, Denny's, Waffle House. It's the same sort of idea. So the All-Star Special, ASS, is a breakfast that essentially has everything on their menu packed into one plate. And the application of the All-Star Special is that we have the Ass Challenge, which is a very simple CSAUP that can fit into any run day, where you have to consume an All-Star Special within and run a 5K within 45 minutes.
So for those who don't know, the All-Star Special is a waffle, 2 eggs. Now you can choose how you want those eggs. 2 eggs,
yes.
2 pieces of toast, sausage or bacon, and hash browns or grits.
Yes.
And it's a legitimate, it's probably a 14-inch plate, if not larger. And every square inch of that speckled brown plate is covered with some source of, I would like to say goodness, but after running a 5K, I don't know how good it might be. So when we think a 5K, I mean, we're talking 5Ks between 20 and 25 minutes, if you're really moving.
Right.
And the All-Star breakfast, so does the challenge start the moment you finish or the moment you start the breakfast?
Yes.
And then you run, like, what's the layout of the challenge?
Sure. Yeah. And I'll tell you the layout. And first, I do want to say that admittedly, I have not done the challenge.
You're smart.
However, yes. I want to give all credit to Brackish. He's a him in our region, and as the second FQ 2 years ago, he had this idea to do this downtown. So in downtown Wilmington, we have a run day, and there's a Waffle House nested right downtown. And, it kind of has that diner feel, so it's not like the standalone roadside Waffle House. Just imagine all those guys on those little circular bar stools, right, wolfing down these breakfasts. But I think this year we really nailed it from an operations standpoint. And Almond Joy, our first FQ, led it and set it up. And the idea was that we really needed hard commits. So guys to understand who was going to be there so that we can call ahead, get the right number of orders set up for that arrival. And because it's open 24 hours, right? So you can call ahead at 5. You could say between 5:15 and 5:30, we're going to need X number of specials, right? So, the workers can kind of wake up from what they're doing, that on kind of that graveyard shift, right? Prepare all these breakfasts. So the minute you get your food until the minute you finish the 5K, that is your time, right? So eat the food, do the run. The run has to follow the 5K. And so that was Brackish's idea. I think we executed it the first year as the Waffle House Challenge, but the second year, it's hard to not get, let the teenager in you just call it the Ass Challenge.
I already see your T-shirt. It's the it should be like putting the run in runs.
There it is. That'll do it.
I'd sign up for that on Mud Gear in a heartbeat.
Oh, you'll have mud for sure. There's no question about it.
In your gear.
So Snooki, how long does it take a guy like who won the challenge, and how long did it take him to finish?
Yep. So I'll go back to the first year. I always enjoy the fact that the name of this PAX who won the first year was called the Processor. So yes, he did ingest that. He's a stud who works out up at our Ogden Park workouts. He killed it, and this year it was won by Jingle, and I believe his time was right about 30 minutes.
Whoa!
So yes, that allows.
He inhaled that plate.
Yeah, he nailed the plate, right? And it's the idea. You could have a you start at the you start at the restaurant, right? And then, ahead of time, you just identify a simple route. The easiest to just make it an out and back, or I think in one case, since the Waffle House isn't the normal start place of our workout, I think we may have gone back to the AO, but I don't know, wherever our cars were, it was an out and back route so that we could come back and coordinate times.
So let's talk strategy. What's your egg choice? Since that's one thing that you can really kind of work with. Then you get a couple of choices with that platter, but I think the egg.
Yes.
What's the other one? Grits versus hash browns.
Yeah.
Yep, grits versus hash browns, bacon or sausage.
Yeah, there are some add-ons. It may be interesting to see if add-ons in the future, like cheese on grits, waffle toppings like blueberry nougat. I mean, that would.
There's your F and G name.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe the add-ons can take a minute off your time. Right. Like some qualifying. But we had some interesting strategies. I mean, we it's nothing like the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, right? But one guy going in, he was like, my family, he goes, on a given Sunday morning, we eat breakfast in silence because everybody is just plowing down their breakfast. So some guys were just into the, scoop and fork and just letting all the saturated fat of the cooking grease, just let it all, flow down. You may have had some waffle dippers, right? Take some water, dip the waffle, and pound that down, kind of like the Nathan's hot dogs. But tough to avoid, the sausage going down in one piece, or I think maybe fried eggs might be the way to go, Tommy boy.
You got to make a slurry. You got to make a big slurry of things and just shovel it in. I'm not concerned about the food going down. I'm concerned about the food coming back. So do you guys have like you're out if Code Brown or if Elvis joins the party, or if you're splashing Merlot, are you disqualified or just finish anyway?
Yeah, I think that would be good to officially put it in the rules. I don't think we've had any splashing Merlot. And it's funny, like when you compare splashing Merlot to an all-star special, it's almost like it's way too classy to call it splashing Merlot. Right? So there has to be something that, maybe relates it a little bit more to what we're really doing here.
Oh, man. Just what would we call it? Biscuits and grapes? Smothered and covered. You can't smother and cover. That's it.
Yeah, right. And I wanted to add too, I guess there's a disclaimer here, right? I mean, we're talking about CSAUPs, right? Completely stupid and utterly pointless, right? The modern day, of course, we've all heard completely stupid and ultimately purposeful, right? This came out of our second camp, right? Yeah, I mean, the fellowship here is unbelievable, right? I mean, Slack really blows up. It's one of many things that blow up during the event. And so, there's really good camaraderie and excitement around it. There's a lot of head shaking, right? And, and I know hopefully, Bones is listening. I know there's a lot of qualified doctors and dietitians that are just saying, this is not a good idea, right? But let me just say a few things, right? So this breakfast is nutritional, and when I say it's nutritional, it means it contains nutrition. Okay, so it's
some nutrition included.
By the book, it's nutritional. Okay, so it's 1,430 calories. One of our packs said, he goes, actually in future years, what you should do is calculate the amount of calories you burn at a 10-minute mile and then have it reflect, burning off that many calories that you ingest. But I think that would make it maybe a 3-hour run.
I will, or more. I would think that it would be more. It could also be a cleanse. I mean, because at some point it's gonna hit the system, and you're probably gonna get more than biscuits and gravy. It's gonna be the last several hours, or just greasing the skids. Let's just put it that way.
IJ, you go with that. I'm fine. So, but I mean, it has 2,650 milligrams of sodium. Let's translate that. 2.6 grams of sodium, 17 grams of sugar, 470 milligrams of cholesterol, 88 grams of total fat. But wait a minute. Again, the optimism here, right? There's 11% protein in here.
There it is.
So for all the protein guys, it's protein and recovery in the same exercise. Right?
I mean, you don't even have to stop and take a salt tab because there's plenty of sodium in the system.
You don't have to.
You're not going to cramp up.
Plenty of water, and you'll be fine. But yes,
this thing's got legs.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's I think in many categories, it's 143% of the daily allowance. So,
well, it's F3. We have to do everything bigger, better, faster, right?
I mean, what are the servers? I mean, what is Bernice behind the counter? What is she thinking at this point? Like, oh,
Yeah.
honey,
That's a great question. We I don't know if photos were taken by the employees of of our packs. I maybe just go on record saying that they've probably seen stranger things in a Waffle House.
Yeah,
at a Waffle House. Yeah,
And but we've got some good. We take some good photos of the guys. Before and after plates, and of course then we come to the backblast. And I'm not
literally
talking about the result there, but of course, just the write up after the workout is just a dad joke and pun factory, and so it's always a good time.
I imagine it's probably written from the porcelain throne too, just hammered out.
That may be a requirement for the queue next time. That's actually a really good idea.
Just blow it out. Tell me, boy, would you do it? Would you do this?
Oh, 100%. Just for the second F alone, I would do it.
You know what? I would do it with you as long as we had a divider between the stalls. We'll just put it that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a whole different. Yeah, that's a whole different CSAUP.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So and we did some. I did some checking on some other things like this. Maybe on the West Coast, I did read about something called the In and Back Out 5K, which is knocking down the In and Out, right? Big burger chain on the West Coast, right? Knocking down an In and Out value meal, and then a 5K. I saw another funny quote where it said, "They say ultra marathons are basically eating contests with some running thrown in for good measure." Right. So, this is not the first eating and running challenge, right? There's also the Krispy Kreme challenge.
The Krispy Kreme, yeah.
Correct.
Which is what I think you run and then have a dozen donuts, which is crazy.
At the halfway mark and then run back, but you have to keep them. You can't lose your donuts.
Yeah.
You can't lose your donuts, right? So this is similar, right? Again, you use your best judgment, which is a very low bar, right?
Well, this is very responsible. It's not like one of those beer runs either, right? So there's no drinking and running.
Yeah.
You're just slamming down God knows what that sausage is made out of, and then just taking a short mosey.
Yes.
BWRUN, beer run. The Krispy Kreme is 12 donuts, 5 miles, 1 hour.
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah. Ooh. I think I'd rather do the All-Star. I think I'd rather do the ass challenge.
We're gonna that'll be the quote for the episode. I think I'd rather do the ass challenge.
Yeah.
Oh,
explicit.
Man.
Well, like you said on the front end, Snooki, there's so much that goes along with these CSAUPs because of the fellowship, because of the challenge, the memories. Certainly, I mean, here we are talking about it, getting ready to launch another one. I'm excited to see where this has legs across the country and beyond. I hope that we get some sort of a classic English breakfast run from the boys across the pond.
Yeah,
horking down some blood sausage and beans and toast, and woo, I can't even imagine. But I'd like to see that. What are some of your guys, as we wrap up here, what are some of your, looking backwards, favorite CSAUPs that you've participated in?
Oh, that's a good one. Being down here at the beach, we have the Baywatch AO on Saturdays right at Riceville Beach. We've had some great Pro Olympics there. Again, because you get a lot of guys out and you get a lot of tourists in the most positive way, right? In our context, you get a lot of downrange guys coming in the summer, and so that makes the numbers big, and you could have a lot of good competitions like that. We've got a CSAUP coming up we're going to have our 10-year anniversary the weekend of June 7th, 8th, and 9th. So on the 8th, we have a 2-hour CSAUP. It's going to be that style. A lot of competitive elements there, and again, fun at the beach. If you've never done a sugar cookie, right, which is you jump in the ocean, you come back and you do essentially snow angels.
Yep.
And then you're just absolutely covered in sand. If you've ever done the tunnel of love, right, holding plank in a high V, when guys are army crawling through there and getting all sandy and chafed and wet. I mean, it's good times. So yes,
it sounds like fun.
Where you are, yeah. those CSAUPs can be super fun. But yeah, I'd love to see PAX come on down for that weekend. And, we definitely love a CSAUP down here at Cape Fear.
What about you, IJ? Do you have a favorite looking back?
Well, actually, he brought up the Bro Olympics when we did the nation's 10 year. It was October, and we got to do the Bro Olympics. And listen, the reason we do F3, we can always tell guys we do this because, hey, it's good for our fitness. Yes, it is. But the reason we keep coming back is because we're hanging out with our buddies. I mean, we're literally just being kids with our friends, or as my children, my shorties call it, my F3 buddies. But no, I was, tug of war in the sand, just, surfies, just doing all those sort of things. There's a different element to, and I'll be going to the beach in a few weeks, and I'm going to post with the guys in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. I'm going to hang out with those guys, and there's just something different working out with the guys. Favorite CSAUPs? I don't know. I mean, I've really enjoyed the Palmetto 200 run, the 200-mile race that starts in Columbia, South Carolina, ends in Charleston, South Carolina. I did not enjoy the Blue Ridge Relay. I had to run one of the Mountain Goats, and that was the first, last, only time that I plan on doing the Blue Ridge Relay. But I think my favorite CSAUPs are we've got one upcoming. This is the 10th year running. It's called the Hog and Coyote. It's Father's Day weekend every year, and it's named after, in South Carolina, over 10 years ago, they opened up a certain time of the year where you could hunt hogs and coyotes without licenses to thin the herd, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so we literally run from AO to AO, and I mean, you're going to run 15, 16, 18 miles, depending on the route each year. You start together, you do pain stations at each one of the stops. You finish together, you have a meal together, you hang out, and that's one of my favorite CSAUPs. Or anytime we push a Speed for Need chair, those are always great. But those are probably my go-to. What about you, TB? What are your CSAUPs of choice?
I mean, I could echo a lot of what you said. The BRR, I feel the same way, although I've done 3 of them. And the Palmetto was probably my favorite as far as those longer distance deals with the team. But here locally, the Mega, and we combine with the Dash Packs in Winston and B-Town and Burlington, and rotate who hosts it. It's usually 8 pain stations, about 8 miles, and everybody gets a little dibs on who's leading what, when, and where. Those are fun. But this weekend actually is the Blackbeard Challenge. This will be there's an argument if it's the 7th or the 8th. I think it's the 8th year, but we'll call it 7th just to lowball it. Running it, it's a ruck and sandbag challenge in honor of a fella up in New Jersey that paid the ultimate sacrifice in Desert Storm. We happened to stumble across it one year in seeking out things that we can do in Greensboro when we were young as a region, and we've just stuck with it. It's been so great. The family is incredible. We've never officially met except for a Zoom call, and it's just good to support them, and it's a fun challenge. And so that's happening on Saturday. In fact, I'm queuing this year, so it'll be great.
Nice.
I think all of those are ultimately purposeful, to go back to Snooki's 2 interpretations of CSAUP, which is not a bad thing. I just get super jazzed up when it comes to the stupid part because the sky's the limit, and we as guys know that we can be pretty stupid.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, man. Just hanging out with the guys. Sometimes it's an outlet. And if anybody's listening and they've never participated in a CSAUP or they've never had that much fun early in the morning, dude, just do it. Just as silly as it sounds, if you tell your wife and she's like, that is ridiculous, you're probably on the right path. It's probably something you should do. And you're not going to be left behind. You're going to be hanging out with the guys, and then you have war stories that you can tell. And that's
the
sometimes
good litmus is when you share the idea with someone else and they say why. That's when you know you're onto something great.
Hey, Tommy Boy, if they say why, what should be the response?
Why not?
Why not? Why wouldn't we? That sounds ridiculous.
It's there.
That's
to
it.
Quote Edmund Hillary, who climbed Everest, because it's there.
That's it.
Well, Snooki, fellas, we can't thank you enough, man. Thanks for carving out time, and happy anniversary early. I wish I could be with you fellas. I'll be graduating the 2.0 on that day, but we'll certainly think about shenanigans taking place on the East Coast. And again, appreciate you coming on the show.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one. Tommy Boy, you've got a catchphrase that we say every single time, so I'm going to get out of the way, and you do you, bro.
I forgot it.
Be good
or be
good at it.